Imagine you're studying abroad. On paper, everything looks successful. You received a scholarship. You got accepted into a university. You've achieved something many people dream about. Friends congratulate you. Relatives tell you how proud they are. Everyone sees the achievement, but very few people see what comes after. Every month, your family sends money to help with living expenses. Sometimes they spend less on themselves so you can continue your education. Sometimes they quietly carry financial burdens they never talk about. And you know it. You know that behind every transfer, every phone call, and every word of encouragement, there are sacrifices you'll never fully see. And that's where the pressure begins, because suddenly, success isn't just about you anymore. You feel responsible for making those sacrifices worthwhile, responsible for building a future that justifies all the support you've received, responsible for becoming someone your family can be proud of. At first, that pressure feels motivating. It pushes you to work harder, study longer, aim higher. But slowly, something changes. The pressure starts growing. Every exam becomes more than an exam. Every assignment feels like a test of whether you deserve the opportunity you've been given. Every mistake feels bigger than it really is. And sometimes, late at night, when the world is quiet and nobody is watching, your mind starts asking questions. What if I fail? What if I don't become successful? What if I can't support my family in the future? What if I never become the person everyone believes I can be? What if all these sacrifices were for nothing? The strange things that none of these things are happening right now. They're happening in your imagination. They're happening years in the future, yet somehow you're carrying them today. You're carrying tomorrow's problems while trying to survive today, and the weight becomes exhausting. One night, after a long day of classes, deadlines, and responsibilities, you realize something. Nothing terrible has happened. Your scholarship hasn't disappeared. Your grades aren't failing. Your family hasn't given up on you. The worst-case scenario exists only in your mind. Yet your heart still feels heavy. Why? Because your mind isn't living in the present. It's living years ahead. It's imagining disappointment. It's imagining failure. It's imagining a future where you don't live up to expectations. And suddenly, you understand something powerful. Most of these problems don't exist yet. They're possibilities, not realities. And that's when you learn a lesson that can change the way you experience life. We often suffer twice, once in reality and once in our imagination. The first suffering is real. The assignments, the responsibilities, the financial pressure, the uncertainty, the challenges of building a future. But the second suffering comes from imagining every possible disaster before it has even happened. Reality says, you have an exam next week. Imagination says, if I fail this exam, my future is ruined. Reality says, your family believes in you. Imagination says, if I don't become successful immediately, I've let them down. Reality says, you still have work to do. Imagination says, what if none of this works out? Reality asks you to deal with today's challenges. Imagination asks you to carry tomorrow's burdens. And often, those imagined burdens become heavier than the real ones. Psychologists have a term for something similar. It's called impact bias. Human beings tend to overestimate how much future events will affect them and how long those feelings will last. We think one failure will destroy us. One mistake will define us. One setback will ruin everything. But reality rarely works that way. People are more resilient than they think. Lives are more flexible than they appear. And futures are rarely decided by a single moment. That's why there's one question that can completely change your perspective. Whenever you're overwhelmed, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Not 5 minutes, not 5 days, not 5 months, 5 years. Will this stressful week matter in 5 years? Will this embarrassing mistake matter in 5 years? Will this one bad grade matter in 5 years? Sometimes the answer is yes. And if it is, then take action. Learn, improve, keep moving forward. But surprisingly often, the answer is no. And when the answer is no, don't give today's problem permission to steal tomorrow's peace, because no one can solve 10 years of problems in a single night. No student can guarantee their future. No one can promise that every sacrifice will immediately pay off. The only thing you can control is today. Today's class, today's assignment, today's effort, today's attitude, today's decision to keep going. That's it. And that's enough. So, stop measuring yourself only by future outcomes. Focus on daily progress, one exam at a time, one semester at a time, one challenge at a time, one day at a time, because responsibility and fear are not the same thing. Wanting to make your family proud is responsibility. Constantly imagining worst-case scenarios is fear. One helps you move forward. The other keeps you stuck. Years from now, you'll probably look back and realize something surprising. Many of the things that kept you awake at night never happened. Some challenges were easier than you expected. Some were harder. Many disappeared completely. And you'll wonder why you spent so much energy fighting battles that only existed in your imagination. That's when you'll understand the lesson that changed everything. Most of the worries keeping you awake tonight are not problems you need to solve today. You don't have to carry the weight of your entire future. You only need to carry the responsibilities of this moment. The future is not built in one giant leap. It's built one ordinary day at a time. So if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, remember this. You don't need to have your whole life figured out. You don't need to solve every problem that might happen 5 years from now. You don't need to carry tomorrow before it arrives. Focus on what you can do today. Take the next step, finish the next task, attend the next class, have the next conversation. Keep moving forward. Because your future isn't created by worrying about every possible outcome. It's created by what you choose to do today. And remember, we often suffer twice, once in reality and once in our imagination. Don't make yourself carry both. The challenges of today are enough. Let tomorrow arrive before you try to carry it. Your story is still being written. And the chapter you're struggling through right now may one day become the chapter that taught you how strong you really are.